Pick the Leota County Fair.
We're good? All right. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I have one addition to the consent agenda. Stacy Bynum has resigned her position as senior class sponsor, and that's going to pass on to Shelley Schapp. Other than that, that's the only addition, correct? Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Ryan and Casey. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Sean?
Second.
Ryan? Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, recognitions.
I just want to take the opportunity to recognize all of the really good hard work that takes place over the summertime. Way back when I was still teaching, I had no idea. You go away in May and come back in August for school, and magically things are ready to roll. Had no idea about the hard, deep work that took place between all the different people who are out, our directors, non-academic directors, and central office folk and everything. Very nice job. Appreciate it. We really can't exist without your efforts. So thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll move to the financials with Mike.
Okay, on page one of the warrants, kind of in the middle, I'll just point out CDW, $12,572 worth of projectors. Down below that, Durbin Student Assurance, athletic insurance for our students, $10,469. And then on page two, we made a payment to High Plains, $89,682. And then on page four, I'll point out the Tailor Made Company. It was the playground that we did that. We paid them $124,970. So total warrants for this month, $433,398.09.
Mike, the 124, that was after the grant, or did we get reimbursed for that? Or?
We got half of the grant money so far, and we're in the process of trying to get the other half of the grant money.
It'll be another $20,000 be coming our way as soon as we put all the paperwork together.
Yeah. But we just paid the full bill out of. Okay. And then our revenues are looking okay so far. Page 9. I went ahead and put in our preliminary budget numbers of what we're looking at, but we're still fine tuning it. But of course, we got plenty of budget for everything, since we just started budget. And then back behind that, we have the high school, middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
Okay, if there's no questions for Mike, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $433,398.09.
So moved.
Jill?
Second.
Ryan? Moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, no public patron concerns. We'll move to administrative reports. Dr. Myers.
Okay, I got a couple, 4 or 5 things to talk to you about. First off is start of school is nigh upon us. Tomorrow is New Teacher Day. You have the agenda before you. And you are all invited. Please show up if you can for lunch at Wiley Elementary School at 11:30. We kick off at 8 in the morning. You're welcome to be here. If you're available to come in here in the district office at 8. But if nothing else, be there for the meal. Wednesday is the day when all the other teachers report, and we've brought back the staff barbecue. So Mr. Sean Sheets will be regaling us with his barbecue skills Wednesday night. So that kicks off at 6:30 at the swimming pool park. So that's Wednesday. The convocation is on Friday. That's when we actually, the first 2 days are kind of a slow start into the school year. So the convocation is at the high school at 8. You're more than welcome to attend. Matt's going to keep his comments to 10 minutes or less, I'm imagining. Then we will all load up and go over to Golden Corral together as a staff. You're welcome to do that as well, if you'd like to come along. That's Friday. Then skip over to Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the first day of school, half day for kids in the morning, half day work day. So we are there. And like I said, I alluded to earlier, you don't just wake up tomorrow and say, hey, let's have school. There's just a ton of work that goes into making the sausage. So, and I'm really pleased with the administrative staff and all their supports and everything to make this happen. Second thing to talk to you about, a couple weeks back, there was the Kansans Can Tour. The Commissioner of Education and one of the deputy commissioners came out. They're going to 50 different communities over the next month or so. This was in Garden City. And 6 years ago, the same kind of tour took place, but we only went to 25 of the counties. 25 locations. So they've doubled that. And the idea is they're going back out to say, okay, here's what people told us 6 years ago. Is it still what we think as Kansans? You know, what are we looking for in our schools, from our school systems? And at the time, from 6 years ago, the work that took place during these meetings led to our accreditation system that we currently have, okay? The results from that, this is pretty interesting. You can all make up your own mind on this for your release on it. But there's a series of questions for people and, fill out surveys and whatnot. And 2 different groups, the greater educational community, which involves educators, parents, family members, anybody who's affiliated with the school. When you boil it down to pudding, they said, what do we really think, what do we need taking place from the schools to prepare our kids for the next stage in life? And overwhelmingly, the educational community said, yes, cognitive and academic skills are essential, absolutely, but not as important as what I call the success skills. Other people call them soft skills, but the skills to be successful in society, to an 18 to 73% difference. So that's quite something when you talk, that's the educational community. So then they went out and did all this exact same thing with the business community. And those results came back even more so one-sided. Yes, cognitive and academic abilities it's important, but success skills, from their perspective, more important. So it's 13% to 85%. So they're coming back out and saying, okay, this is what you guys told us 6 years ago. What are you thinking now? And they did, on-the-fly surveys for us, used some different types of technology, and the results were overwhelming from that room, and it was made up of educators, that, yep, academic cognitive skills matter. They absolutely matter. But we're more interested in those success skills so people will show up to work, do what they're supposed to do, get along with people, be creative thinkers, divergent thinkers, all the pieces that go into it. So this work that came down the pike 6 years ago led to the 5 state board outcomes, which you'll recall are kindergarten readiness, individual plans of study, locally measured social emotional factors, graduation rate, and post-secondary success. So this work that's just been going on with this latest tour will fuel those efforts, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the agenda itself. The playground was mentioned earlier. If you've not made your way to the playground, go walk around on it. It is really neat. It's soft and it'll be durable. It's well done. It really is. It's a nice thing. We are in the process of creating or putting together a technology professional learning room across the way over here in the old community learning center. The idea behind it is it'll be an HES. It geared more toward the use of technology infusion into the classroom. Julie is leading those efforts. Toward that end, she's been serving as the technology integration specialist for the last couple of years. And she's been doing Tech Tuesdays or Teacher Academies. Well, now we'll have a nice place for people to go. It's set up, ready to be used at all times. And then, of course, the principals may use it as individual meeting spots for their staff and or kids if they'd like to. Something I do want to mention to you, it's not on the agenda. It's just by way of getting it out there so you can think about it. The KDHE is making phone calls around the state because they have grant monies available. $73 million available in the state of Kansas through KDHE grants. They are geared toward 3 factors. One is creating a community health center. The second and third have to do with vaccinations on site and testing on site. So with the lady with whom I was discussing this entire opportunity, I said, honestly and truly, you could hand me $3 million, put it on my lap tomorrow. I don't know that I could find people anyway. I mean, it's difficult to hire people. Secondly, I'm all for the community health center. I'm in favor of that. I'm not excited about doing testing and/or vaccinations for liability purposes. And just, I don't know that we have the enough employee power to make it operate properly. There's no decision on that tonight whatsoever. I'm just letting you know that that opportunity exists. And as you think about it, if you have an opinion, love to hear it. At this moment, I'm not planning on pursuing it. And the last thing to talk to you about is the KASB annual conference or convention is coming up. It's November 5 through 7 in Overland Park. It's horribly offensive to me that they hold a state convention all the way over on the other side of the state, and I've voiced my opinion to that, not that they really care. But anyway, it's coming up. If you guys, I know you all work for a living, but if you'd like to go to that, just let me know. I'm sure we'll reach out to you in the near future to see if you'd like to attend the KASB Convention Center. The convention. It's where certain policies are voted upon, and it's good professional learning. But it is a 6.5 hour drive from here. So that's it. President Jones.
All right, we'll move to buildings. Okay, grounds. All right, transportation.
I don't have anything further, except I do wish me luck. We got our inspections tomorrow morning. So hopefully those will be all right.
Luck is not a plan, Sam. Or wishing is not a plan.
Whatever I get. Prayers, whatever. Whatever works.
All right, food services, Monica.
Oh, I think she has more to. I do want to give a shout out. This is Monica's first meeting with us as our new food service director. And she has absolutely hit the ground running. She's a whole bunch of people she had to hire. She's just been getting after it. And at the same time, there's so many details that go into. We just don't say, "Hey, let's serve lunch." There's all sorts of procurement activities that take place, and making sure we're legal, and the trainings that go on. So, but Monica's hit the ground running and do a nice job.
All right, welcome, Monica. All right, technology, Mr. Ackerman. Okay, we'll move to principals. Let's start with our new principal, our newest at
Which
Wiley
one?
Elementary,
Oh, okay.
Amy Albright. Put her on the spot right off the bat.
That's all right.
Of course, I knew I would. I just have a little addition to our professional learning that we've been doing at Wiley. Mindy Cornelson, Hillary Hurtado, and myself had the opportunity to go to Syracuse the other day and sit in on one of their trainings that they had for the curriculum Amplify. And that's one of our options for our ELA curriculum that's up for adoption this following year. So we really enjoyed sitting in on that and learning more about it in person, because when you just have the few materials that they send to you in a sample kit, it's kind of hard to get an overall view of what that looks like. And we figured that it aligned pretty well with the structured learning approach that we're trying to move towards. And so that's actually some of the things that we're going to be working on with Gayla Lofink in our professional learning this year too.
And just by follow up on that, the curriculum rotation, we're on a 7-year rotation. This is the year for ELA, as Amy just mentioned. We started this work back in January. It's been a while. The idea being, because it's such an all-encompassing curriculum, it's by far the most expensive, greatest investment we put into play. And it goes all the way K through 6 for sure, and then you have individual teachers all the way up. If everything goes according to Hoyle, we'll be bringing a recommendation to the board in December. It's not to be adopted till next year, right? Or we adopted at that point in time, but implemented next year. And the reason we want to go at that pace is because then we could, if it gets accepted in December or January, one of the two, then we'll have opportunity to get all sorts of professional learning times set up for the reps to come out on site and help our teachers. So you'll hear more and more about our ELA adoption that's coming down the pike.
Thank you. All right, let's move to Randy, Mrs. Tyne.
As Amy mentioned, I was also able to take a teacher with me and go to Syracuse and look at the 3.5 section of Amplify and learn a little bit more about that. So we have been really impressed with that so far. We actually had a Zoom meeting today with one of the reps to tell us a little bit about the program. So we like that it is basically written with the science of reading in mind and with structured literacy, which is something that we're working on, that the state is wanting us to work on. So with that, last year we started talking at Holcomb Elementary School about writing. Wanted to just dig in a little bit and talk about what that looks like at each grade level. And we feel like that's something that we really need to increase, take a look at, make it more rigorous. And so I started kind of doing some research, you know, just looking on different Facebook groups and things like that. I'm on a Science of Reading group, and so I started asking for writing books. And the Writing Revolution is one that came highly recommended. A lot of people were using it. So I picked it up and read it, and picked a few teachers to be on the writing committee with me. And we've read this over the summer. We are really like the 6 principles that it's written around, and we feel like it will align nicely with the structured literacy approach that we've been working on for the past year with our dyslexia initiative. So we have been planning professional learning for the rest of our staff, and so that has proved to be quite challenging. We have a meeting tomorrow afternoon to kind of wrap that up so we can help bring the rest of the teachers along and help them see what a value this will be. And the basic premise of it is that you write across all subject areas and you use the content that you're learning to be what you are writing about, so that not only does it increase the rigor, but it also improves your writing.
And I'm very pleased with Randy's efforts in this. You know, people in the room, you don't have to raise your hands, but how many of you don't feel you're a very good writer? Just internally think that, right? With adults, you know, they've done surveys on this and said, you know, the greatest fear adults have in the United States of America is public speaking. That's right. That's number one. Before death, before divorce, before loss of job. Well, writing is right up there as well. And the reason is, I'm a former English teacher, so I can say this. It's because some demonic English teacher made a paper bleed, is what happened, and just focus on the negatives. And so it's easier for people to say, I just don't write. When people say that to me, I say, do you talk? And I said, well, yeah. I said, well, then you know how to write. Then you can write. I mean, that's what it takes. But this is a faith journey for Randy, because this is not easy, because you got to tear down the barriers. And people say, I can't write. I just can't do it. Yes, you can. We can do this. And then not only work with the adults, but then convince the adults that they too can help their kids write. And I will tell you, if you show me a good writer, I will show you a good reader. You show me a good reader, and I'll show you a good learner. That is it's absolutely correlated. It absolutely is. So good on you, Randy. Have it all done by Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Give her till Wednesday.
Okay,
at least.
Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Randy. All right, Mr. Helton.
I just want to use the opportunity to plug a couple events coming up at the middle school. Next Tuesday, the 17th, from 5 to 6:30 is our open house. We certainly invite all the families to come in. We'll have their schedules there. They'll get a chance to try out their locker combinations. That's going to be new for 6th and 7th graders, because 7th graders didn't have it last year. So give them a chance to find their rooms and all that. And then Thursday, the 26th, from 6 to 8, we're having Parent University. I'd mentioned that in June. Chance for the community to come in. I was asked if you had to be involved or related to someone at the school to be there. No, I'm opening it up to the community. We'll have a free meal at 6. We'll serve the dinner the whole night if you're a little late, but it's a chance to come in, learn more about our school, learn more about the big one that I know has a lot of interest right now is we will have the police department in to discuss vaping. And we'll talk later tonight about a project the middle school is going to be involved with on the state level to try to tackle this issue, because it's not going away. But we certainly invite anyone in the community who'd like a free meal and to learn more about the school to come in. Thank you.
Mr. Helton, do they have to wait to get their schedule till that night, or is it available before?
We'll make it live that morning of the open house, the 17th.
I had an 8th grader ask me to ask that, so that's why
Sure
I'm asking.
thing. Yes, it'll be open on the 17th.
All right, thanks, Tyler. All right, Mr. Jerry Johnson.
this this has been a different start of the school year for me, obviously. I am used to working on athletics and getting those things going, and it's not that way anymore. So I've been really super excited about figuring all the things out that I don't know. And I think that's kind of been the biggest challenge so far this year is not really realizing all the different things that go in order to be in the seat. But I've been really excited about it, and we have some really good staff. I've had 3 meetings where staff have come in before, volunteered their time. We had a BLT meeting where they came in, and our focus this year is on culture of our school and staff cohesiveness and stuff. We've had a really good meeting there. Had a good meeting today with our at-risk department with the addition of Amy Wickmore coming on. We're going to do some really good things. I'm really excited about those guys as far as kind of dividing up the ELA and the math side about screening students coming in, finding their deficiencies early, and really get them the interventions and the support they need to be really successful in those 2 areas. And those people are dynamite, and they're excited about it, and they have some plans that they want to push forward. It'll look a lot like some of the tiered intervention supports that are taking place down at the elementary, which we're kind of trying to model after. So we're really excited about that. So thank you for the additional staff on that, because I think it'll make a big difference for us. Activities and stuff will start for us on the 16th as far as first day of practices and sports and stuff like that. So Coach Novak wanted me to put a plug in to make sure that we know that all of our physicals and concussion forms and everything like that have to be turned in before we start that. But that'll be our first day of practices for it. So I think that's it.
So in a single word, Jerry, how are you doing?
I am really good right now. 2 weeks ago, I was like really saying I made a wrong decision.
So you're saying you're tickety-boo? Is that what you're saying?
I think it was the other one. But anyway, no, I'm excited. It's been a good learning experience for me. I'm just really glad that we have a really good staff there that's been really excited about getting back into it. So
Only as good as your people.
yep.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. Let us know if we can help in any way.
Don't know if we can, but we'll offer the help.
We'll try. We'll give you Dr. Myers.
Just stand there and say, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, we're gonna move to unfinished business. I'm gonna table the pandemic reopening plan till after gifts in new business. And we'll move to the farm project update.
Hey, Tom, if you'll come up to the table, just in case. All right, so we're in process with, the farm is becoming a reality. So toward that end, the committee, your board farm committee, met with Marcy, Tom, Mammoth people, and myself. Made a few adjustments to the point where we have the lean-to is added, the railings to the mezzanine added, the ceiling panels were all added. And so they're working toward the overall design of the barn. We, last couple school days, work days, have been engaging even more so with Mammoth. The building itself has been ordered, so it's on its, being fabricated, and it'll be on its way. They will schedule the next design update meeting in a couple of weeks, coming down the pike. And this is where we'll, move in a little bit further of, do we want concrete in the entire thing, or do you want open space? The different, options that we have coming down to make the farm as useful as possible. We verified some of the details this week, such as, the height, how tall the mezzanine is. When above it, because it's a hay storage area, but it's tall enough for a 6-foot person to walk, so that's good. Rather than work comp or student injury issues having to bend over and throwing bales, so that's a good thing. Looking at the actual number of pens, given the space, Tom, how many pens does that say accommodates?
We're gonna be able to put 22 down the center.
Okay. And then the actual location as far as getting it flagged. So it's incremental. We're making steps, making strides. Remember the delivery date, the punch date on everything is July 31st of 2022. We don't have any ETA on breaking ground or anything like that yet. But all the prep work is being done, planning to have a meeting to work toward this, and we'll get through it. We're advantaged in that Tom's former career, he worked putting up Morton buildings for many, many years. So we have a lot of expertise here when we talk to the individuals. Any questions for Tom? Because you asked me any mechanical thing, I'm going to say, I don't know. Well, ask Tom.
I'm just glad you're here, because, you were really helpful in that meeting we had.
Thank you.
You know,
Agreed.
I would have had the wrong colors and everything. So,
I was just a wild guess. Okay,
yeah, that's what you put at my mom's house.
that
So,
looked good.
so yeah, it's a good thing we have you on board. So, thanks.
Yeah, I think we're rolling right along. We got it flagged out right now where it's gonna go, so, or kind of flagged out, so I think we're good to go.
And it's gonna be about 30 feet from the current,
We'll be 30 feet, we'll be flush with her north side of her pens now, and we'll be 30 feet from her pens to the west. And that's what that's what Marcy wanted, so that's what we laid it out there, and we're gonna be plenty of room away from that practice field, driving range, whatever you wanna call that, so. Definitely be plenty of room out there to put it.
and so the 30 feet there, I mean, it allows trucks to come in and out.
Yeah.
and, yeah.
She has a kind of a makeshift road out there right now, where we'll be able to keep that. She'll be able to drive around, so.
And also, just as we learn more and more, this is the first time I've been involved with, putting up a barn or whatever. One of the questions they asked was, the scale, as far as putting it in the concrete itself. Now, at this moment, we're going forward without it, but that's something we could retro later on, because I don't know exactly. And they're asking the questions about, do the pins need to be big enough for bowls? Okay. I don't know. So we want it to be useful.
I think something we need to consider too is if we want a classroom in there. If we're gonna have, especially the younger kids, go, it might benefit us to have less pens and have a classroom where they could meet if they're gonna have some kind of a project. It's
Right.
just something to think about
And
while
that-
we're doing it.
And that's absolutely feasible down the road. We could, in fact, it's kind of circled on the plan at this point.
Yeah, they sent a drawing back to us. I think there is a potential classroom in that area.
Cool.
TAC room, classroom.
And Jill's an expert on that, because out there at High Plains, she's got her own classroom out there.
I do.
So,
Oh, there you go.
we're so lucky. All right. Any other questions? All right, thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it. All right, let's move to handbook adjustments.
This simply, after we'd gotten the handbook approved, Amy came up with an idea if we started the breakfast stuff 5 minutes, or opened the buildings up 5 minutes early, we could help a little bit with our congestion we have down here in the mornings. I don't think it's the total fix, but it's a movement toward the fix, because it's, quite New York City out here in the mornings. But since it's officially in the handbook, it takes an official motion by the board. So I recommend that the board adjust the handbook to reflect the adjustments that are presented.
Matt, I'll make that motion.
Okay, Jill,
Second.
Casey, moved and seconded to approve the adjustment to the Wiley Elementary handbook. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's move to new business,
Oh.
district pilot project.
I'm sorry, Tyler, if you come up, please. We have got a couple different, just wanted to highlight to you a couple different things, pretty big initiatives taking place in the district. I think the district has a long-standing tradition of being involved state and even nationally. And two pretty important things that we are involved in, we want to make sure you know about. Tyler alluded to the ECHO project earlier, and I'll just stop talking and let you tell the story.
Spring of this past year, there's an email that came across from KDHE and KU School of Medicine about a grant opportunity to be involved in a pilot program to address vaping in schools. So it had happened to be when we were going through that issue this past year, and so I applied for it, and we were one of 20 schools in the state that were accepted for it. There's 2 in our state district. I'm not sure who the other one is. But it's operated through Kansas University and,
Never mind then.
KDHE.
Never mind.
But they'll be giving us some strategies that have worked in their research. We'll be trying those in school and seeing how it impacts what's going on. We're supposed to dive into that in a deeper way in December is when it starts. It involves a panel of teachers and coaches in our school, so that gets involved there because they definitely target some of the student athletes or some of the groups actually that in research use it with the most propensity. So it's important to have coaches involved in it. So that's information I have at this time, but I'm excited to be a part of it, and I hope it truly makes a difference, because it's not a Holcomb problem, it's not a Kansas problem, it's a national problem, and it's not going away. So we need to do what we can to educate ourselves on what it is, why they do it, and try to tackle it.
Do you think our drug testing policy had anything to do with us getting put into that pool of schools that are in this?
It could have. I'm not sure how many applied. I know there were at least 4 or 5 from our district who did. We met with them by Zoom to kind of go over why we were interested in it, and I must have sold it decently enough. I don't know if that played into it or not.
I do applaud Tyler's courage to get involved in this. It's because, and I'm also proud of the district. The approach to the district is not just punitive, but because we could very easily just say, our approach to this is we're going to just punish people until they stop doing it. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the core root behavior, what's going on. And Ryan, you mentioned the drug testing policy, and I shared this with you before, but I'll share it openly. Nationally, on drug testing policies, random drug testing policies, it's usually a 3% positivity rate. Ours came back at 6%. Now, is that 25%? No, it's not, but it's double the national average. So it's a good thing. I wish we didn't need to have the drug policy, but it's a good thing we have it in place. And I appreciate the board's fervor in pushing that, saying we want this, let's get it going. And of the, I think it was 15 kids who tested positive, 13 were nicotine tied to vaping. So it's a direct thing. Now, if you have 6%, I don't know what percent. We discovered 15 people were hot on a given day. I don't know what the real number is, but I'm sure it's higher. So we are really wanting to try to figure out a way to help students make good decisions early on. And like I said before, people who choose to smoke, that's on whatever. As a kid, that's a gateway behavior. Smoking is a gateway behavior which leads to other chemicals. People don't wake up on a Tuesday and say, I want to try heroin. That's just not how it happens. They try this, then they move to this, they do this, and go to the next. And so if we can curb some behaviors early and just talk about the reasons to and not to, hopefully we won't have the Tuesday morning heroin incident.
Yeah, I applaud it too, because we were on vacation this last week, and here we were at Six Flags in Dallas, and my daughter says, "Oh, somebody left there and I didn't even know what it was." I'm like, "What is that?" And she's like, "Well, it's a Juul or whatever. Isn't that kind of like vaping too?" I'm like, "Geez, I don't even know what that was." So
we had a teacher coming back to her room early, because teachers come back early and get to work, and she brought me a flash drive, and was because she wasn't sure if it was a vape pen or a flash drive, because they're so misleading, intentionally made that way. It's amazing they get patents for that, to deceive people. But that's what I know of the program so far. I'm excited to get started, and I'll keep you guys apprised as we go.
good. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
And the other initiative we're involved in is we got chosen to, if you'll recall, tomorrow, our accreditation is going before the state board, with the recommendation for full accreditation with no areas for improvement. I mean, it was a victory. The team did a nice job putting together our report. Our lagging indicators are still not as where I want them to be, our data, as far as testing data and whatnot. But regardless, it's going forward with our full recommendation. So then, the State Department of Education is looking to, they're going to kick the tires again on KISA and say, well, do we need to adjust it or not? A la the Kansas Can Tour I talked about previously. And so we've been invited to be a part of this pilot program. And so starting in September, I've got a date and that's about it. We'll see where it leads. The idea is more regionally based, and it's all about school improvement, but it does seem like they're moving away from some of the concepts or the principles of KISA. And I want to be at the table, because if it turns back into high-stakes testing, I'll fight that tooth and toenail. I also believe, although I'm an absolute true proponent for the importance of early childhood, I also believe it's not correct for the kindergarten readiness to be a part of our accreditation system. We don't control whether or not a family decides to have a 3-year-old go to preschool. We should not be held accountable to that. All that being said, we've got more numbers in our early childhood than we've ever had. So, because it's, you know, it's important, and we're doing it. And so, and money has been thrown to it, and we've been able to garner it. So, as we move down that path, I'm assuming it'll still be a multiple year process. I'm assuming it'll be more of a systems approach rather than just each individual building. But I don't know. I'm just pleased that we're going to be at the table helping put it together.
All right. Okay, we will move to the KASB policy recommendations, the first reading.
All right, technically, it takes 2 readings to adopt this kind of policy work. So I'm going to take the time and go through these with you. If everything goes as it's supposed to go, today you'll approve of the first reading of the policy changes, additions, and then final action would take place in September. So to roll through these, the first item, the way they label these things was letters and then words, and so DC budget doesn't mean Detective Comics budget. It just happens to be the label for that. It deals with the revenue neutral rate adjustment that took place this year, with the whole idea of having to publish it earlier and then have a revenue neutral rate hearing and a bond hearing, and the regular budget hearing. We have no choice on this, so okay, it's necessary to adopt it. Yeah, I can despise it all I want. You know, the board needs to adopt that. We don't have any other choice. The food service management, basically this particular policy is providing the local control as to what we do if school's called off for any emergency, as to whether we feed people or not during those days. Last year, if you'll recall, when they were talking about when things were closing, then they said, but you have to feed people. Well, I called and said, no. If it's not safe enough to have school, it's not safe enough to ask our ladies to be on the road to come in and cook and then have it available for nobody to come get the food. So it was chop light. It didn't make sense. So now the wording gives us the control. So I'm in favor of that. GAAC deals with sexual harassment. Basically streamlines the actions that have to take place as far as the investigation and whatnot. And this is under Title IX. So I'm fine with adopting this language as well. GAACA, racial and disability harassment for the employees, basically applies actions to be taken if an employee alleges he or she has been experienced racial or disability harassment. So fine with that as well. GAF, student staff relations. I think this is interesting how they've gone about doing this. It's an adjustment, it's streamlining of the existing policy. It eliminates language dealing with employees allegedly bullying, harassing, or discriminating against students to focus more on language prohibiting romantic and or sexual relationships with students. It's good to focus on that. I'm fine with this policy adjustment because the pieces that they're taking out show up in a different policy later on, so they're still covered. IDAA special programs just purely references a different policy that we can expand the school year for remedial or disciplinary reasons if we so choose. Gives the board power to have 12 months a year. You can have balanced schedule, President Jones, under the auspices of this.
There we go.
JDD suspension and expulsion procedures. Basically, they had a typo. So it's going to fix the typo from saying IDAE to IDEA. That's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I only have 4 more to go. JGEC, sexual harassment. It's same as the one earlier, but the way these books are written quite often repeats itself. And so it put in earlier, it needs to go into this one as well as the accompanying policy. JGAECA, racial and disability harassment for students, is the exact same language that came into play earlier for staff members. Now this is for kids. I'm in favor of that adjustment. DFAC, procurement of federal programs. They're basically changing the threshold amount where it used to be if we were going to spend $3,500 of federal dollars for small purchases, there are certain things we had to do. They're increasing that to $10,000. And then for larger ones, we went from $150,000 purchases to $250,000 purchases. And so that goes right in line with what goes on with the state. Several years back, we went from a $10,000 cap on any expenditure, took board approval, and moved it to $20,000. So it just makes sense. And this is in better line with the current pricing. So, and the last one here for you, JDDC, short model bullying plan, basically acknowledges the work of the school mental health advisory council. the recommendation they made to the state board to implement the bullying task force recommendations. The cool piece about this is our very own Dina Novak was on the state's School Mental Health Advisory Council. So Holcomb, once again, has its thumbprint on something that is state and or national. This is state. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different adjustments for your consideration. But once again, this is just the first read. You have another opportunity come September to pull some things out or not. Personally, I recommend that you approve of the first reading, and then we'll take final action in September.
I'll make that motion, Matt.
Okay, Jill
Second.
second it.
and Ryan Shriver. It's been moved and seconded to approve the first reading of the board policy changes and additions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We will move to gifts.
Alrighty, in order for the district to receive monies or gifts, the board has to accept it. We've received 3 cash gifts from the Strawbridge Photography, and basically it's a commission back to us for the business that they received. So in the amounts of WES, $552.83, HES, $561.90, and HMS, $319.80. And I think what this is indicative of, those are class pictures, that we still do that at the high school. So I would recommend that you accept the gifts given to the district by Strawbridge Photography.
So moved.
Ryan Shriver,
Second it.
Jill. Moved and seconded to accept the gifts from Strawbridge Photography. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, now we'll move back to unfinished business A and our pandemic reopening plan.
Alrighty. It's necessary and it's the right thing to do for the board to, I think it's the right thing to do for the board to kick the tires every 6 months on this to make sure we're still where we think we need to be on all the work that's going on and what we're seeing in our local area and in the state. Also, though, it is tied to funding. 2 different aspects of funding come into play on this. One is if we want to be able to get the ESSER 3 money, which is $1.2 million, we have to do this. We have to come and look at this, okay, and say, here's the plan we want to have. Also, you'll see, as we talk about this later on, the federal mandate, which came out Thursday last week officially, that the federal guidelines mandate that masks be worn by all occupants in all school vehicles with more than 1 occupant. So a driver driving down the street by him or herself, no problem. Get a second person in there, got to wear a mask, or they both have to wear masks. The question has been pushed forward. What if we don't? Well, no, we're not doing it. Then the federal dollars are at risk. And for us, that's $2.5 million is what that is. So I can't recommend to you to do that. Ethically, I cannot advise you to go against a mandate or a law. So there it is. So what you got 2 different plans here. And so as not to prejudice this at all, the markings on these might be a little bit more difficult for you to follow, but I didn't want to call one 1 and 1 2 and one of them A and one of them B. So we have the plan where the slants go this way, sideways to that way. No, that's all right. This will work. This will work. We had to differentiate them somehow. So this plan is basically the plan we had this last year. We adjusted the dates, okay? That's what that one is. The other plan, the second plan for your consideration, the slants go the other way. They go the opposite way. And in a 30,000-foot view of it, it is basically moves everything down a level. And I'll get into the specifics for you. One of the specifics is last year in our plan, at level 2, masks were recommended. At level 3, masks were required. With the adjustment to this plan, level 2, no masks at all. It's not mentioned. Level 3, masks are recommended. Level 4, masks are required. Now, what causes those things to happen It all deals with indicators. So we took into consideration local data last year, but now I want to codify it for sure, because you've got the county indicators and then you got our local as well. And specifically within that, what we looked at last year and we'll continue to look at, and I've got data for you on this if you're curious, the numbers from last year. Look at the numbers of positivity, numbers who are quarantined, and percentage of the staff that are out. Those three factors change education for us, I mean, as far as how we go about doing things. Back up again, please, to the second plan I'm sharing with you. Another difference is, basically says in classes, we just socially distance where feasible. There's no barriers anymore. And really the biggest change that takes place in the plan itself, besides recommended and required masks, are at lunch separates out at level 4. You know, like at the high school last year, we had 4 different places they ate. At all the schools, they ate at different places, just trying to spread people out. So that doesn't take place till level 4. If we go to level 5, that were to occur, in level 6 is we're closed, okay? And I'll talk about that in a second, because that's ridiculous, but a new law. If we go to level 5, it's hybrid. What that looks like at the secondary level is, think college classes or schedules, A-B schedules. So first, third, fifth, seventh hour meet on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Second, fourth, sixth hours meet on Tuesday and Thursday, and the next week it rotates. So over a 10-day period, they meet the same amount of time, okay? That's the secondary model.
That's our model, or that's like the state's model?
That's, I would recommend as our hybrid model.
Okay.
Because we can't do remote. You know, that's what I'll come to in a moment. At the elementary level, it means we just spread everybody out. In my thinking, my team's thinking on this is, I don't know how we could transport elementary kids, what that would do to families with their daycare situations if we went to an AB type situation for the elementary. So the concept is keep them coming every day. But we spread them out everywhere. This room becomes second grade. I mean, could. We spread them out. All right. I already kind of led with, I already talked about it. One of the things that's causing these adjustments this way is, in the wisdom of the state, whomever did it, and it got signed into law, there is no remote learning this coming year. None. Doesn't exist. I take that back. You can do 40 hours of remote learning per kid. 40. 40 hours is 1 week, is what that is. So, so there's no remote, ostensibly, practically, there's no remote learning, okay? So when you say, well, Scott, last year we were going to go remote. Can't do it. I'm hoping they'll change that. We'll see. I mean, they're getting a lot of pushback on it because it's not logical, in my opinion, and people who are listening on the radio, you can quote me, I don't care. I believe this is in response to Johnson County, Wichita, and Topeka, who had difficulties with coming to school. We went to school. We never closed school. We didn't go to remote, but some districts did. And so rather than just pinpointing, they put a new law into place for the entire state, and then not only that is it wrong, in my opinion, it backs up where we're trying to go with education. We're going to have more and more teleworking going on in 10 to 15 years than now. Doesn't it make sense to prepare our people for it? But can't do it. Now, the workaround long-term is we open our own virtual school. We're working on that. The deadline for that is February to open for the next year. So even if I had it right here, right now for you, perfectly best grant ever written ever, we still couldn't open right now. It has to be February. And if you recall, last February, nobody was talking about this remote thing. Everybody's, oh, let's go on with this. We'll always have that option. Nope. So that's it. Something else I know, quarantine is coming. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know to what depth. I don't know, but it's coming. And my pressure point on this is, currently, to my knowledge, we don't have a county medical officer, nor do we have a county health officer. And those are the people who do the quarantining. Some people in the KDHE are trying to push it off on schools, and no, we're not taking that. I do not have a medical degree. I don't have a community health degree. Amy, do you? You have those? Yeah, okay. Look at other duties that's assigned on your contract. So, no, we're not playing that game. We're not going to be in charge of the quarantining. So they're in the process of interviewing, I understand, over at Finney County. I felt very comfortable with the former county health officer, if certain scenarios happen in certain ways, I knew how many people would be quarantined and what would occur, okay? We had a grand total of 231 kids quarantined last year, a grand total. We had a grand total of 38 adults quarantined last year. Interestingly enough, that was all in the first semester. Pretty interesting. I don't know what happened, but that's the first semester. Some districts, we're talking 500, 600 kids got quarantined with 0 cases, 0 positive cases. You say, well, okay, Scott, you roll with it. Okay, they're quarantined anywhere from 10 to 14 days, and then depending on what happens. And in the meantime, we can't remote teach them. So, I don't know. We have a plan. We'll be able to get work going back and forth. We just can't put it on a computer. And part of the definition of remote learning, this is nonsensical as well, part of the definition is every day the teacher makes contact with the kid. So let's follow the bouncing ball. So Tyler is quarantined. So Jerry, who's this teacher, he reaches out and says, hey, here's some work for you to do. If he does it on a daily basis, now the clock is ticking on how many hours Tyler can be in remote learning. And by the way, come June, we're supposed to report all the people we had in remote. And it'll cut your funding from $7,000 a kid to $5,000 a kid. So we're not having remote learning. So anyway, quarantine is coming. And this is, depends on who you talk to on what day. On Wednesday, I was told it's not legal for the county to tell us if someone is quarantined. And likewise, it's not legal for us to tell them if there's a case here in, let's say in this room here, to let them know who all's in the room. We can't share the information. So how do you contact, I don't, but then the next day, talking to, with the health people in 457 in the Catholic school system over in Garden, the health lady said, oh, no, they've changed that. What? Send that to me in writing, will you? You can't make this stuff up. So, last few things, and I'll let you talk, or ask questions, do whatever you want to do. Last year, we were successful. We never shut down. Last year, we met once a week. I can't tell you exactly how many months. I can go find it, I guess, or how many weeks. We are consistently at a different level than Garden City was, 457. They had their measures they used. I'm not criticizing, just telling you the facts. Consistently, we were a level below where they were. And yeah, they're just a larger system. I don't see why that would change, personally. They personally have gone away from levels. Their system is much more of a, we'll deal with it as it comes. I don't like that. I'm an abstract random thinker, so I need rules. And here are some rules. That's what these plans do for us. They give us rules. I think we were successful last year is because we took our time and acted appropriately as it happened. It's just some more numbers for you. Last year, grand total, we had 62 students test positive. We had 30 adults test positive, and that's our staff members. I have no data on the medical stuff for the kids, but I can tell you of our 30 adults who tested positive, 10 sought medical attention, 10. I can't tell you to what extent, but yeah, it's Holcomb. If somebody had been hospitalized, I'm sure we would have known about it. So that's what our number, that's with what we did last year, that's our results. I already told you the quarantine, but I'll say it again. We had 231 kids quarantined last year. We had a total of 38 adults quarantined last year. Fascinating to me. WES led the band with 78 kids. HES had 51 kids. HMS had 58 kids. And HHS had 44 kids. Those are the quarantines. It's fascinating to me. Because you would think it would be the high school because they're more social. But it's not how it played out for our numbers. I think that's all I've got, Matt. Okay. But I strongly urge you to come out tonight with a plan chosen, and we just swallow hard and accept the federal guidelines.
How about we accept the federal guidelines and quietly ignore it?
Lose our funding.
Good. Do they send people out to check to see if you got
No idea.
on buses? Probably not.
No idea.
Social media. There's
But-
enough Karens around that I
If-
wouldn't want to take that chance.
If it gets reported to the KSDE, XYZ district is not following it, they will have to investigate it. And if they have to investigate it, they have to then report it on up the chain. No, there's no choice. Because if they don't, then they are putting at risk the entire state's federal money. Now we're talking $600, $700 million. I mean, almost real money at some point in time.
Well, it's a lose-lose scenario. No matter what's selected, you're gonna have 50% of the people that don't agree with you. But I guess just in looking at the proposals, I'm not a real big proponent of why fix what's not broken. I mean, why not go with the plan that we had in place last year that kept us in a position to be able to stay open? I mean, that's kind of where I lean to, I guess.
And I will tell you, I mean, it's throughout this, we will maintain our habits of hygiene. I think that was huge, hand washing and whatnot, and enhanced cleaning. We will maintain that. It just made a difference, regardless of the plan that's chosen.
What I like about the new plan is it pushes back a stage. That's I mean, I'm with you. It worked.
Right.
But I like the newer one pushing a mask mandate back one level at least.
I'd like to see it pushed back to level 5. Mask required at level 5, recommended up to 4. And Dr. Myers, I know you like your rules and stuff, but I also like the way Garden City's going about it is, we'll deal with it as it comes to us. We do these county indicators, and it puts us in a box. If they, we really don't have any leeway if, if there are 8 ICU beds being used. That's definitely,
That flag would then be flown,
Right.
yes. Yeah. But it is important to mention on that, if you look at the county alert levels, what we followed last year, if there's 1 to 2 indicators flagged, then you'd go to level 1 or 2. If 2 to 3 indicators are flagged, you go to levels, it'd be level 3. If 4 or 5, it'd be levels 4 or 5. I mean, there was freedom within it. So it wasn't just absolute lockstep. And some of these, like the congregate living, that was never thrown. That flag was never thrown. Because the vast majority of positivities, and that's what I'm hearing right now, is going up in, someone had shared with me, a congregate living situation, the numbers are high right now. So, and it says it has to be greater than 50% of the positivities have to be from non-congregate living. So that particular flag never got thrown last year. It's just a piece of information for you.
You were saying to change mask required to level 5? Is that what?
that's kind of what I'd like to see. It's just, everybody reads the different things. There's been study after study saying masks really don't help. Besides maybe just a small, minute chance of holding that little bit of respiratory disease back. And then you got your kids breathing their own exhaust all day long. And, I know we take mask break and I know we try to do the best we can, but it's really not healthy for your kids to be wearing masks all day long. And I'm just trying to avoid that as much as possible.
I'm not sure which plan is correct, but I think we need to have a plan and not try to deal with it as it arises. I think that leaves it really open-ended in a good way, but also in a really, really bad way. I think if we don't have any guidelines to go by, and we just try to deal with it when the situation arises, I think that we'll find ourselves in more trouble than having a plan. I'm not leaning towards one plan above the other, but I think we need to have a plan.
Well, I just think it leaves too much in limbo. I mean, if you don't, what are you guys gonna do? Well, I don't know, at least
Yeah,
have
let's
something.
see what
At least we can say, okay, well, we're at this level, and this is what this level is.
And
Well,
I would,
and
and it would be the eye of the beholder, so say on a given, because I hear from both sides. It's not a one-sided discussion here. I hear from both sides that it's, when we went to level 2 this last year, I thought it was a celebration. Not everyone thought so. I mean, you know, it's the position I'm in, I get to play those, you know, get to work with all sorts of people. So, yeah, if we just, it would seem, in my opinion, it seemed pretty arbitrary that, well, we had 15 cases, and why aren't you at level 12? Or you only had 15 cases, why aren't you at level 0? I mean,
Maybe we could still have some of these indicators and give, you know, that way we have a plan to work by. Maybe change some of these indicators so it's more Holcomb School related and not county related.
Well, but I think our plan last year still, we were at different levels than Garden. Yeah, we were both going off of county data, but we were making our decisions based on the Holcomb
The
data.
Holcomb data.
I mean,
that's what we did.
Yeah, we based everything off Holcomb data.
so I mean, yeah, there's gonna be county data, but still, what we're basing our decision off of is our data.
Sure.
I mean, we're not gonna, if we have no cases and there's 30 in Garden, why would, you know, we weren't gonna go mask required if we didn't have to.
And those were robust conversations that took place on a weekly basis, because, you know, there's strength in numbers and whatnot. And I understand that, I respect that. I understand. Drive with me in the morning, we're trying to call off school because of snow. I mean, it's, there's no right answer. You know, it's none. And so there would be times with, you know, come on, can't you just go with it? No, I can't.
But you're still continuing those meetings
Oh,
on
yeah.
a weekly basis.
We started up last week.
Right.
But if we approve something, I
in their
mean,
interim.
strict, I mean, and say we're going with county data,
Doesn't want the
how much, I mean, is tied to that county health official? I mean, if we get somebody new and says, you know, these are the datas, how much flexibility do we have with using Holcomb data?
What it comes down to on that case is the end result. Yes, because they may say, but here are your indicators, here's what you're using, and the response you did was nonsensical. You know, these aren't weighted any greater than, you know, and what I'm kind of hearing, Ryan, I don't mind to put words in your mouth, but I'm hearing you say weight the Holcomb data a little bit greater, is what I thought I'm hearing. Because these are all equal. Now, I will tell you, if you look at the county indicators from last year, nowhere on here does it say local data. It doesn't say it. But I'm here to tell you, that's how I did it. I mean, and Stacy and Jessica and I got together on Thursday before the meetings, and here's the weekly numbers, here's what we have. And they'd tell me, and they'd give me a quarantine, positive, pending, negatives, and we had, and then general illness. I mean, we got to pretty sophisticated. And that's a group I'm very proud of. Stacy and Jessica did a fine job. They did a really nice job and kept SIF together. And then, of course, the principals, everybody really did a nice job. But
I mean, I just wanna
I digress.
maintain that flexibility a little bit, like he was saying, to use our data, I mean, too, and, you know, I didn't know how much we would have if, I mean, depending on the person coming into those positions.
And once again, that wild card, that individual, in other counties, the quarantine numbers were just, in my opinion, egregious. I mean, it's a kid was sick in one of the hallways and 3 classrooms went out.
Well, and I think that's why you have a plan to guard yourself against stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I agree too, but I just wanna make sure, I mean, we're
Right.
giving ourselves, I mean, I agree that we need a plan, but just giving us a little flexibility too, that the county health official doesn't come and say, oh, no, this was your plan, you're stuck. I mean, which they could, I mean, I
Well,
understand
if
that.
you don't have a plan,
And, yeah.
then it's their
Their
plan.
yeah.
Well, that's a good point.
That's what I mean,
That's a
that
good
too,
point.
that's what I mean, yeah. No, you're going back to ours, so, yeah, but.
This is kind of off subject, Scott, but have you talked to any other schools in the district?
Yeah.
Are they,
Yeah.
and this is just a minute point, cheerleaders will cheer at home contest only? Is that everybody's doing that?
And that's stripped off the second plan. That is stripped off that, so.
Okay. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. So not until level 4 or 5. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I don't think it's on there at all.
Yeah.
Because once again, I mean, we know more now, we just do. I was telling Matt before the meeting, it's kind of like trying to drive down the highway looking in the rearview mirror. I mean, yeah, we did a great job, but who knows what, is there a deer standing in front of us? Is looking there? I don't know. You got to be able to look forward too. But it's this black box of mystery. I can't tell you what's going to happen in 10 days. I don't know.
Right. And now everybody's had a chance to get vaccinated if wanted, and
Sorry?
and still can wear a mask whenever they want.
I was going to say, that's an important point to make here. If somebody wants to wear a mask, they're welcome to it. And principals you share with me, chime in. I don't know of a single instance of anybody being made to feel less than because they were or weren't wearing a mask this last year. They're all, people on the radio, they're shaking their head no, it never happens. Shake your head louder, please.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the model we've gone with at the college. Now, K-12 is considerably different than the college, but mass appreciated in the classroom and leaving it up to the individual for the choice on whether mass, you know, I guess my thought is looking at the second plan, if mass were required, moved down to level 5, what level of difference in the protective measures really is there? You would be going to small groups in classrooms, so social distancing, lunch schedules would change. So is there enough difference in protective measures if you move mask required to level 5?
Yeah, I hear you. My answer is, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, there is no right answer. It's just what can work for us.
Well, and also,
as it is today.
I don't think it's, well, how to say this? We could come back and look at this every month. We could. I don't know that that's wise to do so, because I think our people need to know this is what we're doing. But I also don't think we should make custard decisions. I mean, if we put something in place and it just doesn't seem to be working, well, let's bring it back.
You can adapt it.
Yeah, we can adapt it.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't want like level 4.25.
No, I don't either. I don't either. And I understand what happened, but I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think in looking at it, there's enough differences between 3 and 4 on the protective measures, both general and athletics, that if you were to move mass required to level 5, there's enough additional safety precautions being enacted that it could be a consideration.
Yeah, and I know this is worth just me saying the words because I'm not at their meetings as we speak. But the GWAC soups, we hang tight, and pretty much it's recommended across the board. Now I don't know. I've not seen the depths of their plans.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do they have levels? I don't know. But you know, frankly, what's going on in Ulysses is up to them. It's not us. But the approach has been more of a recommended, and this data could be wrong, but it was, as of last week, I had heard on the news that there were 6 districts who were requiring masks at that point. What Dr. Watson said is the urban centers and then the next battlefield, if you will, were the suburban, so your Mazes and Goddards in Topeka, Washburn Rural, and Shawnee Heights. I mean, that's where and as of last week, again, what would be considered the larger districts in western Kansas are all recommended. And all 4 of them are just no requirements until at some point in time, so.
Where we're at right now, Dr. Myers, would we start school at a level 1 or level 2?
Level 1.
I was gonna ask.
I feel we're at level 1, given the data that I know.
We also had given teachers the right to require a mask. Are we going to do that again?
It's an excellent question.
Anybody got any? I think we shouldn't. I think we should go with our plan. The teachers are more welcome to wear a mask and protect themselves as they feel fit, but I don't think they should be able to require all the students in their classroom to wear them, and because they're going into one class and they're going to have to put them on. They're going to walk out in the hallway. They're going to take them off.
And the current,
I think it depends on the underlying reasons why masks may be required though.
Right, if we're in that level 5 or whatever it is,
Well, I'm
yes.
saying health reasons wise.
Oh.
If there's health reasons wise that are documented on why masks need to be required, I think, my opinion is you're obligated to follow that.
And just so we're all on the same page, just so you know, that proviso was an add-on to the policy last year. So it's not in this plan. So if the board's desire is to add in the wording, something along the lines of, but individual teachers or staff members may require masks, that would take an overt action. It's not on these plans.
That only went in there when we relaxed the requirements for last year though, right?
No, it was last August, that's when it went in.
Okay.
It went
But
with the
there
initial
was,
plan.
We took a separate vote on it.
there was language
I
that
think
it
you're right.
had
I think it's 4-3, then 5-7-0.
had to have approval.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
place here. Yeah. I mean, that would be my only caveat, I think, on that.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, if they're wanting to protect themselves, I mean, that's fine, wear a mask, but I mean, if they feel, I mean, that's gonna protect them, then, I mean,
Well, I just feel that, you know, if you've got a staff member that has a family member or someone close to them that has underlying health issues, I mean, it's kinda hard to,
but, I mean, if they're wearing a mask, what is the kid's mask gonna do, I mean,
well, what
to
if that
protect
kid's,
them?
what if that kid is positive and is asymptomatic? I mean, if he's wearing that mask, that'll protect him. Yes. Oh, sorry.
We're missing a lot of comments on.
Okay. But, I mean, I don't love the masks or anything like that, but what I have read is that where they work best is if somebody is a positive, if they're wearing a mask, that protects everybody else. And that's my only thing with it. So, I mean, because if somebody's asymptomatic, I mean, that's just my reason behind it. I don't love the masks at all. I don't want them, burn them for all I care, but that's the one study I read that I trust. And it said if they are positive, them wearing the mask protects everybody else.
The other side of that is if we can keep our teachers in the classroom by letting
Correct.
them feel more comfortable, then I think that's something that we need to consider.
Well, because we can't do remote learning.
No.
Correct. You cannot have remote students.
Can we have remote teachers?
Yes,
Yeah, is that ideal?
Yeah, I know.
yes, I mean, that's a whole, that table over there just puckered up.
Yeah.
The thing about it is too, the decision that's made here tonight affects more than just the students and the teachers. It affects every person who has a spouse that works here, every person who has a child that goes to school here, and based on whatever their company where they work requires, it may have a large effect on, you know, whether somebody's going to work or not, based on what happens at school. We saw that last year at my job, based on what one of the other districts in the area did, had a really negative effect on how many days people were not able to go to work because of what their kids were exposed to at school, or their spouse, or whatever. So it's more, it's about more than just worrying about what happens inside the schools. It's what happens in the whole community is based upon what we decide our kids are gonna need to do and our staff needs to do this year, so.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I would like to recommend we adopt the second version of the pandemic plan, moving masks required to level 5 and allowing teachers to require mask with obvious medical reasons behind that request.
And Ryan, just teachers or staff members?
Staff members.
Staff members,
So teachers and staff can require it in their classroom.
But don't just say classroom, it's workspace.
Or, yeah, workspace.
With documenting.
With documentation.
With documentation of medical reasons needed.
So to make sure I'm clear on this, 'cause we're the ones that have to implement this thing. So I'm an asthmatic. Guys, I spent time in the hospital back when I was a kid as an asthmatic. And so, well, not for years though, but I will tell you, I'm carrying my rescue inhaler again. I don't know why, but I can't breathe lately. I don't have anything, a piece of paper that says anything now besides the fact that I'm an asthmatic. How deep do we want this documentation? I mean,
I think you have to have some sort of doctor's recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay.
Can we amend that and add the part about wearing them on the bus to, I mean, cause. we
It's
need
just
to
a
take
part
a
of it
bit-
right now.
Oh, okay, it's already
just-
on there.
It's
Okay.
on there.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Ryan and Casey. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the newest pandemic plan with the moving of masks required from level 4 to level 5, and to allow our teachers and staff, if with doctor recommendation or documentation, can require masks in their workspace.
In classrooms.
That work? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, 6-1. All right. So now we need to go to executive session. 10 minutes?
And I'd invite Randy Tyne in, please.
Okay, so let's go in to executive session at 8:20 for 10 minutes to include Dr. Myers and Randy Tyne. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so, I guess I never did get a motion and a second on that one, but.
Now,
1, 2.
maybe, we will make sure we heard what you said. We can look up something totally different now. We got it, I'm sure we got it. I'm sure we got it.
So we're gonna stay in here, team?
Sure, can you turn that off so we can stay in here? Thank you.
The other day,
I need to come in and sign
so
that,
we
I'm
were
sorry.
in Shreve
He was down and out for a while. Little brother.
What?
COVID. Both of them had COVID.
Don't break it, Robin.
I've been around it. I was in a car. This is no joke. I was in a car with.
Positive for the antibodies, never knew I had it.
You were positive?
Try that.
I'm all positive.
He had,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Really?
30 years old.
30.
I'm getting one chance
No
to get it
underlying
right,
health
and then it locks it up.
He tested negative on a Tuesday. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, we are back in session.
That's bad.
I need a motion to approve the hiring of Stephanie Prieto as a school nurse and approve to add her to the appropriate handbooks.
So moved.
Curtis,
Second it.
Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Stephanie Prieto as a school nurse. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to hire Chloe Ball as a four-year-old preschool para.
So moved.
Ryan S.
Second it.
Jill, Casey? Jill? Moved and seconded to hire Chloe Ball. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Yeah. I need a motion to hire Telma Saravia de Canales as a full-time custodian.
So moved.
Curtis?
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to hire Telma. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to hire Maria Lopez as a full-time custodian.
So moved.
Second it.
Sean and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Maria Lopez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to hire Debbie Amos as a kitchen manager.
So moved.
Second it.
Ryan Ruda and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Debbie Amos. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Need a motion to hire Griselda Cherez Bonilla as a cook.
So moved.
Ryan Schreibel,
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to hire Griselda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? I need a motion to hire Maria Salamanca as a cook pending a background check.
So moved.
Jill,
Second.
Ryan Rita. Moved and seconded to hire Maria. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? I need a motion to hire Rebecca Foreman as the head custodian at Wiley Elementary and Holcomb Elementary Schools.
So moved.
Jill,
Second.
Ryan Schreibel. Moved and seconded to hire Rebecca Foreman. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? I need a motion to hire Jennifer Campbell, August through December, as a long-term substitute for 5th grade.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Rita, and Curtis. Moved and seconded to hire Jennifer Campbell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to approve a $2,000 stipend for Stacy Cundiff so that Stephanie Prieto can work under her license.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Casey. Moved and seconded to give a $2,000 stipend to Stacy Cundiff. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to approve the supplementals as presented with the removal of Amy Wickwar as a mentor and the addition of Shelley Schapp as senior sponsor and Wyatt Smith as freshman sponsor.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda,
Second.
Ryan Schreibel. Moved and seconded to approve the supplementals as presented with the adjustments. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
I thought maybe you might want to talk about the pandemic plan again. No, I'm joking.
There is? Oh. So just approve all the classified hires as presented? Is that correct? All right, need a motion to approve all the classified staff hires as presented.
So moved.
Oh,
Ryan Shrivogel,
that's a good idea.
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to hire all the classified staff as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Motion to dismiss, so we don't have to talk about pandemic plan anymore.
Okay.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Shrivogel. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Just come. Good catch, Robin.
I think that's the fastest I ever got back from what,
We left Gulf Shores yesterday morning at about 7:40 and pulled in here about 4:30 this afternoon.
Yeah. Long trip.
Yeah, we got